The rumble of a V8 engine, the sleek lines of American muscle. Some things just don't make it across the Atlantic. Ever wondered why certain American cars never hit European roads? It's not just about style differences. From gas-guzzling monsters to safety concerns, these 12 American vehicles were considered too wild for European streets. American automotive engineering often pushes boundaries that European regulators simply won't accept. While Europeans focus on efficiency and compact design, Americans celebrate raw power and impressive size. This fundamental difference has created some legendary vehicles that Europeans can only admire from afar. 1. Dodge Challenger SRT Demon, 2018. The Dodge Challenger SRT Demon wasn't just powerful, it was downright terrifying. With 840 horsepower and the ability to run a quarter mile in 9.65 seconds, this beast was the first production car able to pull a wheelie. Europe said no thanks, mainly because its emissions were way beyond what European regulations allowed. The car produced about 573 grams per kilometers of CO2, nearly 5 times the EU limit of 115 grams per kilometers. The noise levels also exceeded European standards by several decibels. But that wasn't all. The Demon came stock with only a driver's seat to save weight. In Europe, this configuration was illegal as passenger seats are mandatory for road-legal vehicles. What made the Demon truly special was its dedicated drag racing features. It came with skinny front wheels that could be swapped for drag racing, a trans brake for more powerful launches, and a supercharged 6.2-liter Hennessy V8 engine that could run on 100-plus octane race fuel. The car was so fast that the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, actually banned it from official competition without additional safety equipment. It was literally too fast for organized drag racing without a roll cage. 2. Ford F-150 Raptor. The Ford F-150 Raptor is America's off-road king, but in Europe, its size alone caused problems. At over 19 feet long and 7 feet wide, this truck simply doesn't fit on many European roads or in standard parking spaces, which are typically designed for much smaller vehicles. Besides its massive size, the Raptor's fuel economy, around 15 mpg combined, and emissions were deal breakers for European regulations. The truck's weight also exceeded 3.5 tons, requiring a commercial driver's license in many EU countries, something most casual drivers don't have. What makes the Raptor truly special is its hardcore off-road technology. It features HOWORKS racing shocks with live valve technology that can adjust damping 500 times per second, an advanced terrain management system with 7 drive modes, and 37-inch all-terrain tires on the latest models. The truck was designed to handle desert running at high speeds, something Europeans rarely need in their daily driving. Its ability to absorb massive jumps and landings at speed makes it more like a Baja race truck than a practical European vehicle. Ford is trying to bring smaller Raptor models like the Ranger Raptor to Europe, but the full-size F-150 version remains too extreme for European roads and regulations. 3. Cadillac Escalade ESV. The Cadillac Escalade ESV represents American excess in its purest form. This luxury SUV stretches nearly 19 feet long with a massive 6.2-liter V8 engine. Europe banned it primarily due to its terrible fuel efficiency, around 14 to 15 mpg combined, and high CO2 emissions that greatly exceed EU limits. The Escalade's towering height and width also posed pedestrian safety concerns under stricter European safety standards. Its massive front end and high hood line failed European pedestrian impact tests, which require vehicles to minimize injury in case of pedestrian collisions. 4. Dodge Ram TRX. When Dodge created the Ram TRX, they weren't thinking about European sensibilities. With a supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat V8 producing 702 horsepower, this truck was built to dominate deserts, not navigate narrow European city streets. The TRX's supercharged Hemi engine produces around 530 grams per kilometers of CO2, far beyond what European regulations allow. Its massive physical dimensions also made it impractical for European infrastructure, while its loud exhaust violated noise pollution standards in most EU countries. The TRX was developed as a direct competitor to the Ford Raptor, but Dodge took things to another level. The name itself is a reference to the Tyrannosaurus Rex, a predator of raptors. This is even referenced in the truck's design, with a hidden Easter egg showing a T-Rex carrying a Raptor in its mouth. The truck can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.5 seconds, faster than many sports cars, despite weighing over 6,300 pounds. Its off-road suspension system allows for 13 inches of wheel travel and the ability to ford water up to 32 inches deep. These extreme capabilities make it completely impractical for European use, where off-road driving is often heavily restricted and high fuel consumption vehicles face hefty taxes. 5. Chevrolet Suburban. The Chevrolet Suburban, America's family hauler since 1935, is simply too big for Europe. At over 18 feet long, this massive SUV wouldn't fit in most European parking spaces or garages, which typically accommodate vehicles under 15 feet. Its 5.3-liter V8 engine produces emissions well above European standards. The Suburban's boxy design also failed to meet EU pedestrian safety requirements, which demand more forgiving front-end structures to reduce injury severity and pedestrian impacts. 6. Dodge Charger Hellcat Redai. The Dodge Charger Hellcat Redai takes the four-door sedan concept to extreme levels with its 797 horsepower supercharged V8. This car was banned in Europe due to its astronomical emissions of around 521 grams per kilometers of CO2, nearly 5 times the EU limit. The Charger Hellcat's engine also couldn't be modified to pass European Onboard Diagnostics (OBD) requirements without significant redesigns. Its aggressive exhaust note exceeds European noise regulations by several decibels, and the car lacks standard safety features required in the EU like pedestrian impact mitigation systems. 7. Hennessy Venom F5. The Hennessy Venom F5 is America's hypercar answer to the European Elite, but ironically, it can't be driven legally in Europe. With a claimed top speed of over 300 miles per hour from its 1,817 horsepower engine, this car fails to meet numerous European regulations. The Venom F5's most significant barrier was its lack of European type approval. Hennessy, as a small manufacturer, didn't complete the extensive crash testing required by EU regulations. The car also lacks required safety systems like automatic emergency braking and lane keeping assistance that became mandatory in Europe in 2022. 8. SSC Touittara. The SSC Touittara is America's answer to the hypercar world with its 1,750 horsepower engine capable of speeds over 280 miles per hour. However, this extreme performance comes at a regulatory cost that keeps it off European roads. The Touittara lacks European type approval certification and doesn't meet the EU's stricter pedestrian safety standards. Its massive carbon footprint also conflicts with Europe's push toward lower emission vehicles. SSC, as a boutique manufacturer, simply didn't have the resources to modify the car to meet the extensive list of European regulatory requirements. The engineering behind the Touittara is nothing short of extraordinary. Its 5.9-liter flat-plane crank V8 engine features twin turbochargers and can produce 1,750 horsepower on E85 ethanol fuel. The car's body was designed with collaboration from Jason Castriota, who previously worked on designs for Ferrari and Maserati. The aerodynamics are so advanced that the car maintains a drag coefficient of just 0.279, with perfect 50-50 weight distribution front to rear. SSC claims a top speed of 295 miles per hour, though its controversial speed record attempts have been disputed. Regardless, the car's extreme power-to-weight ratio and specialized racing technology make it impossible to adapt to Europe's strict road regulations without fundamentally changing what makes it special. 9. Chevrolet Corvette ZZR1 C7. The Chevrolet Corvette ZZR1 C7, with its 755 horsepower supercharged V8, was too extreme for European regulations. Its emissions exceeded EU standards by a significant margin, and its aggressive aerodynamics failed to meet pedestrian safety requirements. European noise regulations were another hole. The ZZR1's exhaust produced around 99 decibels, well above Europe's 74 decibel limit. Chevrolet would have needed to heavily modify the exhaust system, which would have reduced performance significantly. 10. Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500 2020. The 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500 was the most powerful factory Mustang ever made with 760 horsepower. Ford sold the regular Mustang in Europe but kept the GT 500 in America due to its excessive emissions and inability to meet stricter Euro 6 standards. The car's supercharged 5.2-liter V8 produced around 395 grams per kilometers of CO2, far above EU limits. The GT 500 also lacked specific safety features required in Europe, such as intelligent speed assistance, which became mandatory for all new cars sold in the EU from 2022. 11. GMC Hummer EV. The GMC Hummer EV shows that even electric vehicles can be too American for Europe. Despite zero tailpipe emissions, this massive 9,000-pound electric truck is banned primarily due to its weight and size. Most European countries restrict regular driver's licenses to vehicles under 3.5 tons, 7,716 pounds, but the Hummer EV weighs in at around 9,000 pounds. Its width of 87 inches exceeds many European road lane widths, and its massive battery pack raises concerns about road damage and infrastructure compatibility. The Hummer EV represents American excess reimagined for the electric age. Its tri-motor configuration produces 1,000 horsepower and a mind-blowing 11,500 pound-feet of wheel torque. It can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds using what GMC calls watts to freedom mode, making it faster than many sports cars despite weighing as much as 2 regular SUVs combined. The vehicle's 200-plus kilowatt-hours battery pack is nearly twice the size of those found in the largest European electric vehicles, and its power consumption rate would strain European charging infrastructure. The truck also features a crab walk mode that allows it to drive diagonally and extract mode for maximum off-road capability, features that would be completely unnecessary on European roads. Even if Europeans wanted to import one privately, the vehicle's dimensions would make it impossible to navigate many historic European city centers where roads were designed for horse-drawn carriages, not massive American trucks. 12. Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. The Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk packed a 707 horsepower Hellcat engine into an SUV frame, creating a vehicle that European regulators quickly rejected. Its supercharged 6.2-liter V8 produced around 395 grams per kilometers of CO2, far exceeding EU limits. The Trackhawk's emissions couldn't be reduced enough to pass Euro 6 standards without significantly altering the engine's performance. Its brake dust emissions, something Europeans regulate but Americans don't, also exceeded EU particulate matter limits. The vehicle's weight and aggressive tuning failed to meet European pedestrian safety standards as well. These American vehicles represent a fundamental difference in automotive philosophy. American car culture celebrates power, size, and performance, while European regulations prioritize efficiency, safety, and environmental impact. While these 12 vehicles might be too wild for European roads, they continue to capture the imagination of car enthusiasts worldwide. They remind us that sometimes the most exciting things in life don't always play by the rules. And that's exactly what makes these banned American cars so special. They push boundaries, break conventional limits, and deliver experiences that careful regulations simply can't contain. For now, they remain uniquely American treasures, too wild for Europe, but perfect for the wide-open roads of the USA. The gap between European and American automotive philosophies isn't likely to close anytime soon. As Europe moves toward increasingly strict emission standards and eventually full electrification, American manufacturers continue to produce vehicles that celebrate excess and performance. Even American electric vehicles like the Hummer EV and upcoming electric muscle cars maintain this tradition of being bigger, more powerful, and more extreme than their European counterparts. For car enthusiasts, these forbidden fruits represent the ultimate expression of automotive freedom. Vehicles designed without compromise, built to deliver thrills rather than practicality. They embody the American spirit of excess and performance that continues to capture imaginations worldwide, even if they'll never legally cruise down the Autobahn or navigate the streets of Paris. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these extreme machines that are just too wild for Europe, take a second to hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more content about the world's most incredible cars and the fascinating stories behind them. There's always another automotive adventure waiting just around the corner.